Thank you for watching. Doing this one kind of late, but had some other stuff I had to take care of. I, of course, hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube today. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for subscribing. April 23rd, I hit 4,000. So it's just over a month to gain another 1,000. So that's pretty exciting. I'd love to hit 10,000 by the end of the year. That's kind of my goal at my current trajectory, but we'll see what happens. It's been since 4,000 subscribers. I did the Four Horsemen with Dave Smith and Ryan Dawson. By far my most successful video I've ever done. Over 500 subscribers came from that video within a week. It was pretty amazing. It's got over 10,000 views. Also had Spike Cohen come back on. I don't know. I had a lot of great guests, a lot of great videos. I just had all three hosts of the Lions of Liberty on yesterday. That was pretty cool. But we got some exciting stuff coming up too. Just tomorrow, I've got Jack Hunter coming on, and then I've got Nick Gillespie coming on, and I've also got the next Four Horsemen with obviously myself, Eric Jackman, and Ryan Dawson, and the fourth horseman is going to be Scott Horton. So that's going to be pretty exciting. This is really nuts. Like, I didn't think I'd be this successful this quickly. A lot of the credit goes to Dave Smith for giving me such a big platform, having me on his show, constantly advertising me. Apparently he gave me a shout out on Michael Malice's show the other day. I haven't seen that yet, but a few people have told me about that. And then Ryan Dawson, probably number two. You know, he's platformed me back. He's posted every video that I've ever done with him to his page and advertised me, and I've picked up a lot of subscribers from him. And Ryan's great. I just want to give a shout out to Ryan in general. I realize that some people don't like everything he says, but it doesn't matter. He talks about some of the most important issues. He talks about why politicians are slaves to AIPAC. There's some disgusting reasons behind it. Everyone should go check him out. He's at ancreport.com. He just got banned from Twitter again the other day. And then obviously you guys know where to find Dave. He's part of the problem on YouTube and Spotify and everything. And then he's on Twitter, Comic Dave Smith. But those two guys really have just given me a platform that I frankly don't really feel like I deserve. I'm so honored to be friends of theirs, and it's really just amazing. And you know, I came to prominence in a weird time. Everyone was locked in their houses, and technology is at a point where we can all stream from our basements if we want to. And then I just happened to be in the right place at the right time for, meeting Dave Smith. And I luckily had connections to meet up with Ryan Dawson. And then, I got Carrie Wedler on the show, and Spike Cohen, and, Larry Sharp, and I don't know, all these great people who are just willing to come on and talk. And it's been really amazing. But what I want to talk about in this video is a couple things. One is the idea of liberty unity. And I'm really upset that people are ascribing liberty unity to individuals. Like, they think me, David Fite, Dave Smith, and Jeremy Todd. It's time to move beyond that. And in fact, it's something that I'm probably going to stop talking about because it's such an obvious thing. You have a political party or a movement or whatever that agrees on 95% of the issues. There's a little nuance on abortion and border patrol, and that's about it. And the fact that we should be getting along and trying to aim most of our anger and frustration and energy at the state instead of each other should be the most fucking obvious thing ever. So I'm actually not even going to be talking about it that much anymore. We've gotten to the point where Spike Cohen, Dave Smith, and Justin Amash had a clubhouse meeting together and all basically agreed that we need to unite on the big picture issues and oppose the state. The libertarian Twitter pages are pretty much all on that same page. The stupid ones got kicked out. So it's at the point where it's, shit posters on Twitter arguing, which is fine. Like, that's what Twitter's for. That's what shit posters do. That's not a concern of mine. The whole idea behind Liberty Unity in the beginning was to get the Libertarian Party on track with trying to take on the biggest state in human history. I'm one of those guys that does believe that the Libertarian Party is the vehicle for liberty. I don't see it in the Republican Party. I certainly endorse people engaging in agorism, and if they don't want to get involved with anything, that's fine. But we can make all our podcasts and write all our books and practice all our lifestyles all we want. If we don't run anyone for office, no one's ever going to hear about us. No one's ever going to care about us. That's how, a lot of people came in from Ron Paul or Rand Paul. It's running people for office that draws us attention. That's what Tom Woods said when he was on my show. I 100% agree with him. And, the Republican Party, I don't think is a viable vehicle anymore. I think Ron Paul was smart to run in the Republican Party at the time, but the Republicans have made big government popular. Like, a lot of people think Trump made the Republican Party better. I don't agree. I think that they're controlled opposition to the Democrats. At this point, the Democrats propose a $6 trillion bill, and the Republicans will say, whoa, that's crazy. How about a $4 trillion bill? And then they'll agree in the middle on a $5 trillion bill and pass it. So, that's what we got now. So I don't believe in trying to get anybody into either of those two parties. I don't think we can win the presidency. I don't even really think we can win congressional seats. I think that the battle is at state houses and below. And then running people for Congress or for president is mostly just to draw attention. So I do think we need a strong candidate in 2024. If Dave Smith runs, he'll have my support unless somebody way better comes along. And, that's how he feels too. He doesn't even want to run. But given the current layout, if he decides to run, he'll have my support. I think we need someone who's high energy, who will just blast that liberty message out there and will attract people to the Libertarian Party and the Libertarian movement. And then we should be focusing our resources on the states and below, because those are things we can actually take back. And then we can actually starve the beast that is the federal government, by sponsoring Defend the Guard legislation, things like that. Just be a middle finger to the federal government. But, my show is the Naturalist Capitalist, not the Liberty Uniter. It's time to fucking get on board or remain irrelevant. Like, it's already happened in my book. We've already seen the important people agree that bickering over our small differences is dumb. It's time to climb aboard and take on the state. And that doesn't mean we'll stop talking about our disagreements. I will continue to talk about immigration and the Israeli-Palestine conflict. Those are things that I think some libertarians are bad on, and I'm going to keep talking about them. But if they don't 100% agree with me, I'm still going to work with them to take on the state. So I just want to see people try to move beyond attaching your principles to individuals. Even if it's Ron Paul, like I love Ron Paul. He's the greatest politician of my lifetime, but he's not going to run again. Like, just try to apply his principles to the future. I mean, that's why he was so great, is because it wasn't anything about him other than the fact that he was just telling the truth. That's what was so impressive about him. So that can transcend Ron Paul. We can have that again. We can have a movement that really pushes for those types of things. We can have a party that actually represents those things and make people feel welcome here who want to really advance liberty. So I guess that's mostly it. Liberty Unity is not about a small clique of people, or certainly not about me or Dave or Jeremy Todd or David Fite. It was supposed to be about all of us. It was supposed to be a concept, not an institution, not a caucus, not some little clique on Twitter. It's supposed to be an overarching principle that people can understand. So to try to move it beyond myself, I'm going to stop talking about it all the time. And I'm going to lead by example, which I think I have been. I don't get into these petty, stupid arguments with people. This is the other thing about the liberty movement. It's just like being at a job site. Some people are there to get work done and go home and make money. Other people are there to just cause problems and get into stupid little quarrels with everybody and do nothing but talk about what he said, she said. That's so prevalent in the liberty movement. People talking about stuff that happened 5 years ago. Someone said something on Facebook and, I'm offended by it. And then, if there are legitimate problems, like if somebody abused somebody, or if someone made false accusations against somebody, or if somebody tried to ruin someone's career, that's different. Like if it's libel or assault or an actual criminal offense, then that's not something you just brush under the rug, obviously. But if it's just stupid banter that offends people, like, you get the fuck over it. I've got a super chat here. Congrats on breaking 5,000, King. All libertarians unite for liberty. Agreed. Thank you, Marshall. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to talk about my message, which is naturalist capitalism, basically. The idea of how, if we leave things alone and let them run as naturally as possible, that you're going to have more success. And if we start embracing philosophy around natural law and how things actually work instead of embracing emotion, then we're going to have a message that wins. I'm seeing a lot of people want to ditch principle for short-term gains. If we can really latch onto people's emotions and just use that, I don't think that's right. I think emotions are important. I don't think you can forget them, but you have to pair it with principle, and your principles have to be grounded in reality. And the non-aggression principle is reality. It's a naturalistic approach to morality. I don't really know of a better way to describe it. It's a system that works. It's one that can be tested against itself and functions. It's not based on, some intrinsic feeling or something. It's based on what will work. And that's what we've really got to push for. People have to be grounded in a philosophy. So you can change their mind on one or two issues. Maybe you can make them anti-war, or maybe you can make them not like the cops, or maybe you can make them anti-Fed or something. But unless you change the way that they really think, then it's always going to be a battle. Because if you change the way they think, then their positions on the issues are going to change. Whereas if, let's say, you get someone to change his opinion on the lockdowns, and then the lockdowns go away, what have you accomplished? Nothing. But if you can convince them that it's immoral for a government to arrest somebody if they come outside of their house when they're not supposed to, or go into a place without a mask that they're not supposed to, or go to their place of work that they're not supposed to. If you can convince them that government power is illusory, that you own yourself and your property, then you're going to have people who arrive at different conclusions, and the battle will be won. But that's mostly it. Oh, here's a comment. Came over from Malice and Smith. I heard I got a shout out over there. I don't know what they said about me because I can't find the episode anywhere. But that's pretty cool. As I was saying earlier, I owe a lot to Dave. He really does advertise the shit out of me. And he's probably the reason I got most of the subscribers that I do. But hey, guys, it's late. You can probably tell I'm half asleep doing this. But, this is my last video I'm going to do about Liberty Unity for the foreseeable future, unless I get Justin Amash on here finally and I can ask him about it or something. But it's super self-evident, super obvious. Like, climb on board or remain irrelevant. Like, you can continue to be a parasite and just tear down whichever person in the movement or the party that you don't like. Why don't you get in your lane? And as long as you're all moving toward the same destination, who the fuck cares which lane you're in? Maybe Justin Amash is better in the slow lane, and Spike Cohen's better in the fast lane and you're fine in the middle lane. Like you don't want to be too radical and you don't want to be too mellow. I don't know. Just figure out what works for you. Push your message. If you see someone who's not pushing the message or who's infiltrating and pretending to be a libertarian, that's one thing. And then, like I said earlier, if someone's doing something that's actually fucked up, then yeah, that's different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people with different messages, or sorry, different styles of messaging or capability of reaching different audiences than you are. As long as you're all selling the same product, it doesn't matter. In fact, it's good. You don't want everyone selling the same product with the same strategy, because then they'll only reach one demographic. But yeah, thank you for subscribing. As I said, I'll be on tomorrow with Jack Hunter, I think at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check in for that. And as always, take care of each other and take care of yourselves.